I am 73 years old, and I live in the United States, and there is something I need to say, something that might make you stop, even just for a moment. For a long time, I thought I was doing everything right. Work, money, plans for someday. I thought that was life. But now, at this age, there is one truth that has become very clear to me. There are lies we quietly accept because they are comfortable to believe. I am not saying this to teach you a lesson, and I am not saying this to sound wise. I am saying this because I do not have much time left. And if you listen to me now, maybe you will not have to understand this when it is already too late. But before I say what comes next, you need to understand how I used to live. I was not lazy. I was not careless either. To be honest, I did everything we were taught to do as Filipinos, especially after I came here to the United States, work quietly, endure, save money, put family first. That was my life back then. I woke up early, I worked long hours, and when I came home, my body was completely exhausted. I would tell myself, this is just how life is. This is for the future. I had a house. I had a job. I had respect in the community. When someone asked me how I was doing, my answer was always the same. I'm okay. I'm blessed. But deep inside, there was a silence I could not explain. It felt like every day was exactly the same. Wake up, work, come home, sleep, over and over again. I never asked myself if I was happy. That was not a question people like us usually asked. What mattered was having a job, being able to send money home, having something to prove. Back then, I kept thinking, I still have time. When everything becomes stable, when I have saved more money, when life in America finally gets better, that is when I will take care of myself. That is when I will chase the things I truly want. But while I was busy chasing the right life, some things were slowly disappearing. Conversations that never happened, phone calls I kept postponing, days when I told myself, I'll do it tomorrow. I did not notice it at the time, but little by little, I was already living on autopilot. I was doing what was expected of me, but I no longer asked myself if this was what I truly wanted. And the painful part is, I thought that was normal. I thought, this is just the life of a Filipino abroad, work first, live later. Until one day, something happened that I did not expect. And in that moment, everything suddenly stopped. It was an ordinary day, nothing special. Same time, same job. I was inside a building, sitting down, listening, but not really listening. Then suddenly, I felt a heaviness in my chest. It was not obvious at first. It felt like something tightened, like something was squeezing me from the inside. I thought I was just tired. I thought it was stress. For years, tiredness and stress had been like old friends to me, but this was different. My breathing became slow. It felt like there was not enough air, even though I was still breathing. I tried to stand up, but the room started spinning. The last thing I clearly remember was someone holding my arm and a voice asking, "Are you okay?" When I opened my eyes, I was already in the hospital. The lights were bright, the room was quiet. There was the sound of a machine beside my bed. There were tubes in my arm. There was a monitor above me, and beside me, my wife was sitting there, silent. Her hands were shaking. She was not crying, and somehow that was even more frightening. The doctor said it was a cardiac event, a nice term, clean sounding, but all it really meant was this: I almost died. They also told me, "You were lucky." But as I lay there, I did not feel lucky. What I felt was silence, no work, no schedule, nothing to prove. For the first time in a very long time, I was not running from anything. And there, between the sounds of the machines, one question entered my mind. If everything had ended that day, what would I have left behind? Not titles, not overtime hours, not praise, only the things I thought were important. I remembered the calls I did not answer, the days when I said I was too tired, the plans I kept postponing because I thought I still had time. On that hospital bed, for the first time, I admitted something to myself. I did not live a wrong life, but I also did not live a whole life. And what scared me even more was that I was already ready to go back to the way things were. Back to the same schedule, the same reasons, the same excuses. And that was when I understood what the real danger was. It was not almost dying, it was living again, as if nothing had happened. After I got out of the hospital, I thought everything was over. I thought it was enough to say I survived. I thought it was enough to promise myself I will be more careful now. But then one lie stood right in front of me, a lie I had believed for so many years. I still have time. That was what I had been telling myself for most of my life. I still have time to rest. I still have time for my family. I still have time for myself. I did not realize that this was the most dangerous thought a person could have. Because when you say, I still have time, what you really mean is not now. And when it is not now, many times it becomes never. After the heart attack, my life slowed down for a while. I became more careful, more quiet, more observant, but I also noticed something. As the weeks passed, the old voice in my head started coming back. You are okay now. You are safe now. You can go back to the way things were, just a little. And that was when I saw the truth. Time was not the problem. The problem was the belief that I still had time. Here in the United States, many of us Filipinos think this way. Work first, endure first, live later. We say, this is for the family, and someday we will enjoy life too. But while we wait for someday, some days disappear completely. Parents grow older, children grow up, moments pass, and they never come back. And they do not disappear all at once. They disappear one by one. One call you did not answer, one visit you postponed, one hug you saved for next time, until one day you realize there is no next time anymore. That was when I understood that time does not leave with a warning. It does not knock. It does not say goodbye. It simply runs out quietly. And if you keep telling yourself that you still have time, you will not notice that your time is already being spent on things that do not truly matter. I am not saying this to scare you. I am saying this because I am the proof. I thought I still had time until one day I almost ran out of it. And even though I was given another chance, I know not everyone gets one. So now, when there is something I want to say, I do not postpone it anymore. When there is something I want to do, I ask myself, if not now, then when? And once the lie of I still have time begins to disappear, that is when the regrets start to show themselves. They do not come all at once. They return one by one, quietly, but heavily. I do not regret the wrong decisions I made at work, not the times I failed. What hurts more are the things I did not do, the calls I said I would answer later, the visits I postponed because I was tired, the conversations that should have been long, but I made them short. I remember the nights when I came home late. The house was quiet. There was a light on in the kitchen, but I did not sit down. I told myself, tomorrow, tomorrow I will listen. Tomorrow I will ask. Tomorrow I will show up. But tomorrow often does not come. There were friends who slowly disappeared, not because we fought, but because there was no time. There were relationships that became weaker, not because there was anger, but because there was distance, and there were moments I can never go back to. The laughter that was replaced by silence, the hugs I never gave, the words I should have said, but kept postponing. When you grow old, you are not haunted by the wrong things you did. You are haunted by the things you did not choose, the roads you never took, the decisions you were too afraid to make, the dreams you told yourself no longer mattered, but they did matter. They always did. And the painful part is, you only realize it when there is not much left. At night, when everything becomes quiet, that is when they come back. Not to hurt you, but to remind you that there are moments that will never happen again. I am not saying this to make your heart feel heavy. I am saying this because it is true. And if there is one thing I have learned, it is this. The time you postpone for the things that truly matter does not come back. You can make more money. You can succeed again. But one moment, once it passes, there is nothing that can replace it. And those are the kinds of regrets that never ask for forgiveness. They do not shout. They do not rush. They simply wait until life becomes quiet enough for you to hear them. And after you face those regrets, one question naturally begins to rise. So then, what truly matters? This is not a new question. You have heard it before. I have heard it too. But it feels different when there is not much time left. For a long time, I thought I knew the answer. I thought security mattered, being prepared, being in control. But as the years pass, those things slowly begin to fade. What remains are the people. Not how much time you spend together, but whether you were truly there when you were together. There were days when I was with my family, but my mind was at work. There were moments when we were sitting side by side, but we were far apart. Back then, I did not pay attention to that. Now, it is painfully clear. What truly matters is being present, not perfect, not always happy, but real. Conversations with no agenda, silences that do not need to be filled, moments that are not rushed. What truly matters is the time when you are not trying to prove anything. You are not chasing, you are not rushing, you are not hiding behind being busy. I also learned that the simplest things are often the hardest to do. To listen, even when you are tired. To show up, even when no one will notice. To say, I love you, even when there is no special occasion. Back then, I thought those things were a waste of time. Now, I know. That was the time. And if you ask me now, at this age, what truly matters, I would not say money, not titles, not reputation. I would say the people who will notice when you are gone, the people who will feel the empty space when you are no longer there, not because of what you did, but because you were there. And the painful truth is, you cannot buy that. You cannot save it up. You have to choose it while there is still time. And now, before I end this, there is one question I want to leave with you. It is not a question you need to answer right away. And it is not for anyone else. It is for you. If everything ended tomorrow, not in some distant future, not someday, but tomorrow, could you say that you lived fully, Not how hard you worked, not how much money you saved, not how impressive you looked in the eyes of others, but whether you were there in the moments that mattered, whether you listened when someone was speaking, whether you showed up when someone needed you, whether you said the words you should have said before it was too late. I am not judging you, and I am not trying to scare you. I know how hard life can be. I know how heavy responsibilities can feel, especially here in the United States, where it is easy to become busy and hard to stop. But if there is one thing I have learned from all of this, it is this: time does not disappear all at once. It runs out while you are not paying attention, and one day you wake up and realize there's less of it left. I do not know how much time I still have, and I do not know how much time you still have. All I know is this day is still here, and sometimes that is all you need to know. If something I said touched you, that was not an accident. There is still so much I have not said, so many experiences that come with a long life, mistakes I wish I had understood earlier, lessons that arrive too late. If you do not want to learn these things the same way I did, subscribe. If you know one person who needs to hear this, share this video with them. And if there was even one moment that made you stop and think, leave a comment. We still have time now.